Hello and welcome to Creative Vitality Jam Sessions. Here we have intimate conversations with extraordinary dance and theater artists about reimagining creativity and supporting and building community. CVJS and I walk in solidarity and as allies for equality, justice, and respect. Black Lives Matter. Let's unite. I'm Helen Pickett, and today's guest is Stehpanie Ray Williams, dancer with Dance Theater of Harlem. We have known each other since 2015, and I'm going to admit her in, and she will be here shortly. Here she is. Hello, Stehpanie.
Hello, how are you?
You know, today I'm good. You know, with the COVID reality, it's really ever changing, isn't it?
Oh yes,
Oh yeah.
oh yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
So um, even within a day or in an hour, things change rapidly. But I'm always happy to sit down and talk with artists. This is, one of my really happy moments in the week to, because it's like the closest thing to being in person, right? Having a good chat.
Yes, yes,
So
it really is.
I'm
And
really happy you're here with us. And I'm really happy to interview you because you are such a go-getter, and I really feel like you're going to be a leader in our contemporary ballet world. You know, apart from being a beautiful dancer, I mean, later on, So
thank
I
you.
always start with this question: what part of the world are you in?
I am in the South Bronx, right on the tip, across from East Harlem in New York City.
Beautiful.
And I live in an old piano factory.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's
So,
pretty
is it
cool.
loft space?
It's it's loft space. Right now we're dealing with no gas or heat.
Wow.
But other than that, it's beautiful. I have 4 windows in my bedroom, and yes, it's a really lovely space, and I love being here. And it's full of artists and creatives.
What a great building. Wow.
Yes.
Stehpanie, diving right in. You made your professional debut with Texas Ballet Theater and danced with the Francesca Harper Project, ARC Dance Seattle, Complexions Contemporary Dance Company, and Ballet Black. How did these various experiences, shape your young artistic identity and your, let's say, your young identity as a human being in general?
Well, my first job with Texas Ballet Theater, I um, I had been working at the school, or what is now the school, Texas Ballet Theater School in Dallas. We're not working, I guess, being a student there for since I was 8 years old. And so I had gotten to know Ben through the Nutcrackers that we do. And one of the awards I won for Texas Young Masters, I met him at the governor's luncheon. And so he had offered me my first contract as an apprentice, and I was just so stoked. I had always looked up to Lauren Anderson, and I knew that he was responsible for lifting her up as a principal dancer at Houston Ballet. And I was just like, wow, like this is so cool. And me and my mom had been having that conversation about, are you going to go to college? And no, I don't want to go to college. I want to be a ballet dancer. And so I had my job, and I joined Texas Ballet Theater in 2006, right after I graduated high school. And it was a huge learning experience. Right from the bat, I was the only person of color in the company, and I didn't think that that would affect me as much as it has. And I think about it a lot more now than I think I did when I was young, because I grew up being the token mostly um, in all of my ballet training. And so I was used to that, but I wasn't used to the dynamics of company life mixed in with the dynamics of racism in the workplace, in the ballet workplace, honestly. And I didn't even know what the difference was. Like when I was being treated negatively because of my skin color, or when I was being treated negatively because I was the youngest person in the company, you know? So I did not get a contract for the next season. And it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. My mom put me on a flight to New York and she said, the fellowship audition for Ailey's tomorrow. Good luck. And I hope I don't see you again.
Oh, good mom.
My mom is so good. And I got in the fellowship at Ailey, and the rest is kind of history. It was the first time that I was around a majority of Black and brown people, and I was able to explore modern and contemporary. I was reunited with Francesca Harper, who I worked with for my YAGP solo. And from there, I got a job in London with Ballet Black, which is the dance theater of Harlem equivalent to, you know, to the UK. And
Yeah, Casa's doing wonderful things over there.
Oh yeah, and I got to work with Richard Alston.
Nice.
And Liam Scarlett. And yeah, I mean, that was an incredible journey. And I was only 19 at that time. So young. And then that was kind of how I feel like going to Ailey and being pushed out of that ballet world, and my mom being so intent on making sure that I was not just a ballerina, which is what I wanted to be so bad. You know, she's like, girl, that's not it. And so I guess it's really my mom. But yeah, I came back from Ballet Black and immediately got an apprenticeship with Complexions, and it just kind of all like snowballed. And then the recession hit.
Oh.
Yes. And yeah, and that's how I started gig work. And I called up Francesca, who had been kind of in touch with me, especially being at Complexions. And she was like, come work with my company. We don't do a lot, but we have these shows coming up and we do a lot of improv. And yeah, and that was eye-opening. Forsyth improvisation, and also working with dancers that weren't just trinas or couldn't just do point, or you know, they were hip-hop dancers that she was working with. There were really modern dancers from all ages. She was working with a lot of the students from the Ailey School, but she also had, you know, the grown dancers that she'd been working with for a long time. So it was that, I think, really kind of moved me in the direction of where I'm at now.
I mean, it's just remarkable after hearing, you know, over 60 stories of how people have, you know, artists are wonderful because we're in a constant state of reimagining, right? And how people get to where they're getting, how the journey, the unexpected, which is in every human being's life, first of all, but every artist's life is filled with that unexpected turn or multiple unexpected turns, where it comes down to, you know, your angel mom getting you on that plane. So that was an unexpected turn that, you know, your guardian angel mom made happen for you, right?
Yes.
There's that, but there's also like those turns that we make the decisions about. I mean, going to London at 19, living in a foreign country at 19, having that experience, deepening your experience of dance, seeing how other types of dance, you know, bolster all of the dance in your body, the choices you make. Like you said, the eye-opening experience of then diving into improv and how that shifts your mentality of ballet and of
Well, and improvisation is absolutely terrifying for someone who's just doing plies and tendus in the same order, for the first bits of her life. And then working with you, working with Francesca, and just being like, I don't want to see that. I want to see something different. It's
well, I hope I didn't
terrifying.
sound like that, but
No. Well, you were more like, you got to do better. that was also terrifying.
I'm sorry. That's not
Honestly,
good
it's
coaching.
so good. No, it was so good because I went home and I was like, okay, how am I gonna do it better?
Yeah, but that's terrible coaching if that's what I said. But no, it's there's the people in the front of the room. I always advocate for kind, but we do need to be putting expectations and guiding people through the expectations, not the people in the front of the room expectations, what the human being, the artist can find in themselves. And then we guide and we give information, and then that human being can take the information or not. I think that's because improv, right? A bunhead at 19 with Billy. So I know where everyone's at when they see the glaze of fear. I remember it very well. But man, it did change my life.
Yeah, it did.
It showed me, oh yeah, this is better. Engage, make decisions, choices. And I see that in your work, also in the periphery, because I watch what's going on. And also, Stephanie, you were, ready to make those choices. I mean, going around in the gig work, I mean, it was a wealth of information for you, and you made that happen. You went to the auditions, right?
Yes. Yes. And my guardian angel mom, she was always there. She was always pushing me. I really couldn't have done it alone. She was always guiding me, and she's kind of a dance mom, and I'm the oldest of 6.
Wow.
So, and I'm living maybe just a little bit of her dance dreams. She was a tapper.
Oh, wow.
Theater in the 80s before she started having so many children. But no, she, especially when that recession was happening and no one was getting jobs and people were being let go right and left. And I'm just this young dancer that I don't seem to have enough behind me to really get hired into where I want to get hired, but I've done too much to start as a trainee somewhere already. And it was really frustrating. And I was like, had those days where I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore, Mom. Like, I'll just come home and I'll work at Sonic and I'll go to college. No, you're not. I'm gonna call you at 8 a.m. and you're going to that class and you're going to that.
Yeah, but Stephanie, that's great parenting. And I think just to hear your story, this is important for other people, young people, to hear that you do not, so you knew you weren't alone. You had this incredible system of your mom in place, right? Mm-hmm. But I want to say to everybody too, no one's ever really alone. There are people, like if people reach out to me, I'm there for them in whatever capacity I can be. But I think that's important, to you say you couldn't have done it alone. Your mom was your cheering section. She was the one saying, helping. But let's remember, you could have simply moved home and say, Mom, I tried, but you didn't.
That's true.
So that's it's also give credit where credit's due. There's a two-way street there. There is.
At the end of the day, it's really the just do it part. That's why Nike's slogan is so good, because once you just do it, you're like, what? is amazing. You get the natural high. You're like, I don't know why I was ever afraid. This is creative vitality, you know.
It is, but and help someone get over that place. That's also, my dad did the same thing for me when I was 14. I wanted to quit. And he made a contract with me for 6 months.
Oh,
He
wow.
said, just stay in for 6 months, because I was, a point where it really hurt me. I was like, I did not understand those shoes at all. And he said, just stay in for 6 months and let's see what happens then.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he knew, but he knew. Magic of good parenting, right?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yeah. So you named several women as influences in your life, which I always love. When we as women, can name women and support each other, it's really, really important. So you named several women as influences in your life. Viviana Durante sparked your initial love for ballet.
Yes.
How, and this is multiple questions, so I'm going to just start here. How and what did she give you through that?
Just through the VHS.
No, I know.
Everything. My teacher, Fiona Ferry, was trained at the Royal Ballet and danced in the Stuttgart Ballet before she retired and came to America and started teaching. And so she was very strict and pretty much told me I would never, ever, 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 ever be a dancer because my arms were terrible and my feet weren't good enough. And she had very high expectations, but it was fine because we are still friends to this day. As a student, I couldn't stand her, but she really whipped me into shape. But she wanted to work on my arms. I have muscular arms that don't fit that old world mentality.
Yeah.
But we would watch these videos of Viviana and work on variations during our private lessons, or we would just watch tapes together. And what do you like about her? And there is this Sleeping Beauty VHS of her as Aurora, and just from the second she runs down those stairs, you see my eyes, they light up. She's so sexy. I feel like I've always been a little too sexy in my life, and it was really nice to see something like that, even at the Royal Ballet. I was watching Who Cares on YouTube, and and the way she uses her fingers and her eyes, and there's something so sensual, but it's not cheap. And I don't know, she's a woman.
She's a woman, and she's also deeply dropped into her humanity and her womanhood. And
actually at Ballet Black, she came and took class with us. I have this picture because I was just in awe, and someone snapped a picture on digital cameras that we used to have.
Yes.
And I have this picture somewhere of just me sitting on the ground, just like a little girl, just in awe. But yeah,
that's beautiful.
It was, I love her.
Yeah. So big influence. So basically, to sum up, you kind of saw yourself in her and her energy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was 14, 15, so I didn't know who I was, but I guess I saw who I wanted to be, who I could be as a dancer.
Beautiful. That's right.
Yeah.
You also named your mom, your grandma, Lauren Anderson, as well. What aspects from these three formidable and also so generationally different, but also, Lauren being a consummate artist, what is it about, what are the aspects? Maybe there are similar aspects. What are the aspects from these formidable women, and how did they anchor you?
Well, they're all very outspoken women, very powerful, strong women. They're not meek. They're not afraid to say how they feel or fight for something that they feel is right. I mean, when I went to my 2 summers at Houston Ballet, Lauren Anderson was still principal with the company, but she was always around the halls. She would take men's class, which I thought was just so badass. And she was doing double tours and you know, she'd always be like, hey, how you doing? You know, which I just loved because, oh, I'm okay. Yeah, speak up, come on, how you doing? And one day when I was sick, I used to get sick a lot as a kid, but one day I was sick. She's like, oh, no. You don't have to, you're going home. I'm taking this girl home. She'll be down to the offices. I'm taking this girl home. Lauren, you can't take her home. That you can't drive her. She's going home with me. Get in my car. So I just thought was so, yeah, they were like, you can't do that. She's a student, you know, there's liability. No, she'll be fine. And I just thought it was so cool. I was feeling awful, but she took me home in her car and she was listening to jazz music. And I got that like private moment with her. And I keep seeing her around. It's not like, you know, we email and talk a lot, but every time I see her, it's always a powerful presence. She's always has some little snippet of something to say and then just moves on. And yeah, she's powerful. My grandmother and my mom are just like that, you know. They don't give up. They're strong and they fight for what they believe is right. So
yeah, they fight through the excuses too, I bet.
Oh yeah, and they make me fight through the excuses.
Yeah. It's an important thing to learn, right?
Yes, and it's, you know, I know we'll get to that later, but it's interesting now that I'm teaching more to hear the excuses.
Yeah, right.
And to be like,
and to recognize it's fear.
Yes, but also know, like, well, you're not fooling me. I felt the same way.
I said that so often. I'm like, no, you know, for years and even years ago, I said, so let me just start out by saying, I know every excuse in the book because I've done every excuse in the book.
Yes, and that also goes with Zoom behavior. You know, I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes they just disappear. I'm like, you're not fooling me. I know.
You've been in the bathroom 15 minutes.
Yes. Like, I also take classes and rehearse on Zoom.
Exactly.
I might have tried some of these tricks.
So let's see. Oh, and as mentors, you named 3 other magnificently inspiring women: Francesca Harper, my dear friend, Virginia Johnson, like, talk about icon, and Marie Chong. How did each of these 3 women give you guidance and inspire you? Was there crossover guidance from your non-dancer influences and your dancer influences?
Well, I met Fran when I was 16. Another mom gift. She found Francesca on the internet and said, I think she should choreograph your contemporary solo for YGP. And that's how we met. And we've been close. I don't know, even, she's a friend, she's a sister, she's sometimes a mother figure. She's like everything all in one. I don't think she likes to hear mother figure, but you know, sister, she's a sister. And she's provided me all of these really great opportunities, and so many times, especially with Dance Theater Forum, I have to say no. Oh, I hate that. I always want to work with her, but she's really provided me these amazing opportunities to perform, to improvise in performance. Like, some of our performances are just improv. It's so great. And yeah, and I always look forward when I get an email or a text from her. Hey, are you available? I don't care if it's paid or not. And It's, yeah. Oh, I love her. I love her so much. And she's a go-getter. She does not stop.
Oh, yes.
She
Fran
does not
has
stop.
extremely strong vision.
Yes.
She does. And she has extremely beautiful passion and generosity and grace.
Good hugs.
Yeah.
Just good hugs.
And good hugs. Yeah.
And so I actually was working with her. We had a rehearsal at City Center for the Francesca Harper project. And it was Saturday. And this was the day that Dance Theater of Harlem Ensemble, or Dancing Through Barriers Ensemble, was having their audition. She said, "What are you doing here? Go uptown." She kicked me out of her rehearsal and made me go to DTH audition.
That's awesome.
That's how I got my job, I guess.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I think I was so scared of Mr. Mitchell and a little bit nervous about the change that was happening at DTH, you know, like everyone was. I don't know what's happening up there. I never been up there, never been to the studios. So I walked in, went to the audition, and immediately fell in love and met Virginia Johnson for the first time. And Virginia, moving on to Virginia as a mentor, Virginia from day one has always been extremely tough on me. She expects nothing but the best from not just me, but all of us. Yeah. And that representing something larger than yourself is 100% what's happening at Dance Theater of Harlem. And it's not about so she's just expects so much. I was basically on probation for like 2 years. You know, that was it. And I think it was, you know, I want to see your feet get better. I want to see your arabesque get better. She wanted to see these things improve before I had a for sure contract. And this was during that time with the ensemble, and everybody had their corrections they were working on with Virginia. And we all had these private lessons. She forced us to have private lessons with her. Wow. You know, first she's like, I put a sign-up sheet, and oh, no one signed up. Okay, now everyone has one, and they were before class. They were before.
You know, it's funny. There are, I know Dresden also, at least, you know, 5 years ago or so, they used to also have everybody got private lessons and private coaching.
It's amazing. And even like, if I go into Virginia's office and say, do you have a moment to look at this and work on this with me? Oh yeah, she'll find the time. And she's such a figure. Like, it's, you know, for me, she's my boss and she's the woman that I go touring with. So she's kind of my family in a way, but it's so really like mind-blowing to see people fangirl over her, because they do all the time. Virginia, so good to meet you, you know, and she's so like, oh, hello. You know, it's so badass too. But
it is.
She yeah, I used to like freak out in our company, like our dancer meetings, just me and her. For a while I couldn't, you know, and I get like all emotional and anxiety, and she's like, Stephanie, you have to stop, you have to calm down. You know, and finally I can go in and I can talk to her.
Yeah.
It took years. So she's really been a mentor, and she doesn't always agree. But she pushes me. Yeah, she doesn't always agree with what I feel or what I have to say or what I feel like I should be dancing. But it's what makes her a good artistic director. Right. She has, I don't think she's she's barely taken any time off since March, since this pandemic has started. And she lives at Dance Theater of Harlem. She lives constantly working for Dance Theater of Harlem. And it's really remarkable to see that dedication and work ethic.
She must do it. That's something I often say, you know.
Yeah.
The question isn't there. It doesn't even present itself.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean that's a beautiful way to say it. She's been there for 52 years. So that's but she's been a really great mentor, and that's actually how I met third mentor is Marie. She came to one of our shows in Seattle and waited for me backstage by the door and said, "Hi, I have a company called ARC here in Seattle. It's a small company and we work in the summers and I would like you to come and dance for me." Okay, yeah, sure. We don't usually work in July, so that should work out. You know, I have to get my artist release from Virginia, and so I ended up going for 2 summers to work with Marie at ARC, and it was just from, you know, I've been at DTH since 2010 in the ensemble and in the company, and sometimes you get kind of on that, all right, we're doing the return again, and we're doing this, and all right, I don't really know what, I'm not really feeling like, yeah, I love my job, but I need to do something else, like not just like a little, like I need to dip my toe in another pool to revitalize my feelings here. And so that's kind of what ARC was, and working with Marie. She's worked with Disney, she's worked with Cirque. She's a little bit different as a teacher.
We're having a little work in Stephanie's apartment being done. They just want to be present.
Yes. Thank you. But
don't worry about it.
She's one of those teachers that makes you do like a lot of relevés, a lot of push-ups before class, like together as a warm-up. And she doesn't believe in bar. So if she could have it her own way, you would never dance on the bar. All of these things, you know, initially you're like, I don't know if I can subscribe. And then you're just like, let me just try. This is what you wanted, Stephanie. And I actually love it. I started doing it in some of my classes that I teach, you know, especially if I feel like someone's leaning on the bar. She has very good points. You don't need the bar.
Yeah.
You don't use it. You don't need a crutch.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So Marie, she's been definitely a good mentor for me now that I'm in my 30s, and she's had such a career that has been kind of all over the board, and she's worked at all these different places that aren't just ballet, and she has her own company and her own school, and she has a lot of things going on, and she rides motorcycles.
And she's in a great city.
Yeah, and Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but whenever I'm there,
great city.
Instantly happiness for me. And I think it's just because it's so different from New York. Because I don't think I'm unhappy.
Place, very rural, open city.
Yeah, I love it there, and especially in the summer. Yeah. It's like undeniably perfect. And so
I feel the same way about San Francisco. I had my high school years there, and it's just, if it wasn't so exorbitant, I would really live there again. It's a wonderful place. It's really.
I have to go back. I haven't been there since I was 15, and I was a little bit freaked out.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
I mean, I was just too young, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Marie has been, and also now she works at Dance Theater of Harlem.
Oh,
So
cool.
she's our ballet master.
Right
So she's
on.
been, yeah, she's
Yes, I
been
saw that.
helpful.
Yes, I saw that. Yes.
Another thing that she does.
Yeah, exactly. Another strand in her life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
beautiful. Thank you. So, Stephanie, you received the 2017 Natalie Skelton Award for Artistic Excellence. Were featured in dance me were you were there we go featured in dance magazines On the Rise in 2013. You were on Oprah Winfrey. No, I'm sorry. You were an Oprah Winfrey Fellowship recipient at the Ailey School, and in 2006, you were both the National Foundation for the Arts Award winner and the Youth America Grand Prix finalist. And in 2004, Texas Commission on the Arts, yeah, you won that, Young Mastery, which you mentioned.
mhm.
Did these awards and recognitions push you into new places, I guess personally or geographically? And how did they open doors for you if they did?
Well, starting with the Texas Commission on the Arts Young Masters Program, it's something you apply for, and it's not just for dance, it's for all artists in the state of Texas. And they choose, must be just like 20 artists from around the state, and you get $5,000 stipend to be put towards uh, summer intensives, or mostly I used mine for summer intensives. And so with that money, I was able to go to Juilliard and Lines in San Francisco, two things that were outside of my comfort zone, and on two different parts of the world or of America. So yeah, that definitely propelled me in both the different artistic and geographic directions. Uh, Working, just my mom was the one that found all these things. We didn't have a lot of money, lots of kids, and so it's really just that, how am I going to get the best for my daughter brain? And so she, oh well, look, we can apply for this scholarship, or um, if I push you in this direction, maybe you'll meet someone that'll help you, along. So I really have to thank her for that. But getting the Dancer on the Rise, you don't know that you're gonna get that. That's just something you get a call from Dance Magazine one day, and they're like, hey, we want to feature you in this. What? That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's how that happens. Funny, and it's a really funny story because we were at Jazz at Lincoln Center for our New York season, and I wasn't even cast in the ballet. Wasn't supposed to dance the ballet that got me this article, and the dancer that was cast couldn't do it, and Virginia said, "Hey, Stephanie, you want to go in the day of the show?" Yeah, and that's how I got that article. They're talking about Glinka Pas de Trois by Balanchine, which is just it's a ballet. Yeah. And then the Natalie Skelton Award, I was nominated by Loris Anthony Beckles in Dallas, who has his own company in South Dallas. And I met him through another scholarship that I got in Texas before I graduated high school. And he had just been following my career and then nominated me, and that's how that happened. So those things are just little cherries on the cake. That they don't really do anything except let you know you're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and you never know. I mean, just they're also added to your resume again for when you make the step into the next part of your life. I mean,
Yeah.
they continue to bolster, I guess is a good word, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I agree
So
too.
you are currently in your 9th season at Dance Theater of Harlem.
Oh yeah.
How have your views shifted as an artist? What aspects have shaped your work in terms of narrative or neoclassical or contemporary ballets? You've spoken a bit to this already, how,
Hmm.
your pan dance experience, has contributed to who you are, right? We covered that. But how have your views shifted, or how have you reimagined yourself as an artist simply through these 9 seasons at DTH? Um, and then I guess the question attached to that is, what roles took you to the next level? And were they your favorite roles? And what were your favorite roles?
I mean, Dance Theater of Harlem, working for Dance Theater of Harlem it's not that big of a company, and we tour a lot. And so I have been blessed to be able to dance a lot and to dance a lot of different types of roles because of my past experience with working with other companies and work and being trained in other dance styles other than ballet. So uh yeah, I used to just love to dance and to dance for the sake of dance, and I still do, but I get so much joy out of doing things that are different and having variety. So I love dancing at DTH for that reason. Like for instance, when I first started, we were doing a lot of um, this dance return to James Brown and Aretha Franklin, which is a classic DTH ballet. It's kind of like jazz on point, and it's really lovely. But everyone that was in the company at the time, I want to do more balancing ballets. The company used to do balancing ballets. I want to do more balancing. So then Glinka comes, and no one wants to do it because it's 12 minutes of straight jumping. And I'm like, oh, I love jumping. Nobody wants to do it. I mean, the story is that Balanchine, these 3 people were fighting, and Balanchine was like, you guys are just going to wear you out, so I don't have to hear you fight anymore.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it's one of those ballets. So I was, lucky enough to dance that. That was actually what I remember. Virginia was like, so after your Easter performance of Glinka, I'll let you know if you're hired into the company. So I like to call that my audition. I know, it was so stressful. Yeah, and I called my mom crying. She's like, "You didn't get it, did you? You didn't get it." I was like, "I did. I'm
Oh.
just stressed."
Oh.
Yeah, I know. But then, working with Francesca, she would choreograph System, which was very Francesca, but a lot of people again were like improv. Donald Byrd.
Mm.
We've worked with a lot of like really like different choreographers. A lot of contemporary stuff, even for Dance Theater of Harlem, it's really contemporary. Donald Byrd was, yeah, that was an experience. But I mean, now I did this shimmy in the ballet, and now people will like, I remember you were the shimmy girl.
Wow. Amazing.
My boyfriend always, yeah, he's always like, hey, Stephanie, who am I? uh, um, yeah, and then Wind Love,
Mm.
I'm like dying to do that again. I just couldn't get enough of it, and I didn't get the chance to do it the first time around.
Right,
I
right.
had to wait.
Yeah, you did.
And
That's true.
fingers crossed. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I hope that, you know, I get casted. So that was super exciting for me. And that was right at the beginning when I started working with Doane as a partner. And
I always had dreams. I have to interject. I always had dreams that you and he would somehow do that in a gala somewhere.
we did.
Oh,
We
that's
did it at
right.
Vail.
That's right.
Yes, we did.
I'm so happy you got to do that again.
But it was another one of those accidental situations for me, because it was supposed to be Nyara.
Oh.
And then she left the company to join Pennsylvania.
Right, yeah.
And here I was.
Right.
It was really, I mean, Doane, it's like he doesn't, you know, he just left DTH, but he's so much fun to partner. You never feel like you're gonna fall on your head unless that's the choreography, and then you'll fall gently on your head.
That's right.
And he has this big goofy smile, you know, so every time we do Winland, what's our story today?
Yeah.
What is our
Fantastic.
story? Yeah.
Yes.
So that was, what a great ballet. And I know everyone that danced it. You know, it aired yesterday in our Sunday matinee at DTH.
I know, and of course, a family emergency came up, but
well, I'm sure they could send you the video.
yeah, I'm gonna write. Yes, I hope so. I hope so.
But that ballet, and it's so hard. You were out of breath right at the beginning. But what I found is, I'm kind of going off track, but what I found is when you are out of breath at the beginning of something, you have to be reborn within the dance.
Oh, that's beautiful, Stephanie.
Like I have that same feeling in Jose Limon Chacon, which I got to dance. And there's this moment in the middle where you are facing upstage and you're on your knee and your head is down and your palms are in that classic Limon open, and you bring your chest up, and it's like you have like maybe 4 minutes left of an 11-minute solo, and yeah, you're reborn. But there's a moment when you put your knee down, you go, I think I died. And I remember right at the beginning of Winlove, you're looking in the water, and some days in rehearsal, you're like, I don't think I can get up. I think this is it. You know, like this is the water. All right, I'm about to dive in the water. I can't get up. So it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, but you know, it is 8 minutes. It's an 8-minute duet, and it's a journey for the two of you, right? You don't leave the stage.
Amazing. No, you don't leave the stage, and you don't leave each other's, you know, you're always kind of.
That's right. Yeah.
I love it. It's really fabulous. And
thank you, Stephanie. I hope you get to dance it again.
I hope so too. We're always like, can you bring that back? We're always in love.
I'd love to add to a trio or something to it, so it could be a little, you know.
Well, you could just come back, and you know, the company's so different. I mean, you know, it's evolved since you came. So I would love to see what you would.
I'd love that. Okay, I'm writing Virginia.
All right. Great. We need stuff for 2022.
Exactly. I'm ready. Believe me. You can imagine. I'm so ready, right?
We really do. We just started getting into the studio, so almost.
That's fantastic. Are you podding it?
Yes.
Yeah. That seems to be a successful model.
Yeah. You know, initially we didn't pod it, and that didn't work.
Yeah.
So
the pods seem to be successful. Yeah.
But we're still not allowed to touch each other.
I know.
And that's sad. It's hard.
No.
It's hard to not give your family hugs.
I know. Just get into the elbow.
Yeah, or like the
Nuzzle
foot.
that elbow. Exactly. Exactly. Fan kick each other, man.
Right.
Let's see here. There were some more questions. Oh, do you have a bucket list of who you'd like to work with?
Yes. So I was making notes on your questions that you sent me beforehand. Thank you. Yesterday. And in my head, I was like, well, Kyle Abraham,
Oh,
obviously. I
yeah.
want Helen to come and choreograph something new on DTH. That'd be great. Who else did I write down? Michelle Obama.
Right
I
on.
want to dance in her puppet show on
Yes.
Netflix.
Yes.
I really do. So I'm going to say that right now and try and manifest it because I would love to work with her. And she's
Yeah.
just so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's a puppet show and I love puppets. Yeah. I could be a dancing puppet. Yeah. Who else did I write? Kyle Abraham's really been like, because they've kind of been talking, like Anna and Virginia have been talking to him, but he's so busy. He's so busy. And I think the timing hasn't worked out. So that one's kind of been a carrot dangling. And I'd hope it comes to fruition.
Me
And
too.
Michelle Dorrance.
Yes.
I found my tap shoes and I think it's time. I think it's time for me to put the taps back on. And Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
not
These are
necessarily all
great
dance.
people. Yeah.
Not all dance. And then there's always that like maybe I'll do Broadway one day.
Yeah.
I'm very inspired by the TikTok musical.
Okay.
I know. Hear me
No,
out.
there's nothing, there's no
Yeah.
judgment. I think it's wonderful. It's,
I-
yeah.
And I don't really like social media or TikTok, which is why I think it's funny that I'm into the TikTok musical. So I'm going to explore that more. And I have artistic brothers and sisters. My brother composes and plays all these instruments, and my sister
Perfect.
is actually a musical theater lady who can sing.
There you go. You got
yeah, I'm like, yeah, I have my little company.
You have a company. You should do it. Why not? No time like the present.
Yeah, speaking of people I want to work with my brother and my sister.
Yeah.
Which could be, a terrible decision, but we'll see.
I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
it sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
All of you just keep your the negative side of ego at the door and remember why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Of course, my email pops up. This is who knows why. That's why my eyes just went weird.
It's fine.
Wait a minute. Wait, this is all beautiful. How do you want to share? So, and then the last question here before we get to your teaching is, how do you want to shape your next steps as now that you're a more seasoned performer?
I think it's just like trying not to get too comfortable, which is funny to say now because nothing about what's happening now is comfortable.
That's true.
At all. But so I think in a really funny way, if you want to think it's funny, the pandemic was something that maybe I needed.
I hear this more and more.
Because
it's taught people.
I'm doing a lot of stuff that makes me feel uncomfortable, not just dance-wise, but I'm on the producers team for Dance Theater of Harlem, so I had to learn how to edit a movie on my computer and use Google Docs, things like that.
Yeah.
And I just got nominated to be part of the first tenants association. I'm like, I don't know how that happened. I did not think people would vote for me. So yeah, so I'm learning things about tenants association this week and writing bylaws.
That's That's amazing. Okay, we're moving on to your teaching now. Stehpanie, you teach and mentor, which you said greatly increased during the pandemic, right? You're on faculty for Dance Theater of Harlem. You teach weekly open donation-based class on Ballet Together. You give 3 students weekly private lessons. You have become a mentor for a new company, the newer company members for DTH. I believe personally teaching's also based on among other things, there's a generous aspect. You know, there's something about giving over as a teacher, right? Taking yourself out of the mix and giving, right? How has teaching shifted you as a human being? Who are your influences as far as the knowledge you impart while teaching? And has teaching shifted your ideas as a performer? I can repeat those one at a time if you want.
Yeah, repeat them one at a time, please.
Okay. So has teaching shifted you as a human being?
Absolutely. Asked me 2 years ago if I wanted to be a teacher. I would have made an excuse of why I couldn't teach. For like, if come to my school and teach a master class. Oh, no, I think I'm busy that weekend. So you know, I had been teaching a little bit, but not a lot. And as soon as the pandemic hit, I was like, I can't just not do anything for like a week for my mental health. And so I was like, how can I make myself busier? And all of a sudden, people started reaching out to me or recommending me for these master classes and for Ballet Together, and reaching out for private lessons through Ballet Together. And so it kind of fell into my lap, but I accepted it and tried not to say no like I used to. And it gives back a lot. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. I actually I hate saying this, I feel like I'm working harder as the teacher than I am sometimes as the student, because my brain is working in the moment and in the future. What do I have to do to get up to where I was trying to go? What are the steps? How can I be encouraging? How can I smile more? I tend to have like the, RBF, especially in class. And yeah, you can't have RBF when you're a teacher. I feel like I can't. I feel like I have better response when I'm smiling and happy, and it's not easy. That takes energy. And I feel like it's kind of a performance.
Let's just talk a minute about that phrase, RBF. Maybe we need to get rid of it.
I like that idea.
Because I think it's a derogatory phrase for women. I really do. I don't think, I rarely hear it in terms of just a man. Right? So let's just, maybe you and I I mean, I never use it, but let's just get it out of our vocabulary, because, one can be serious in stature, in our facial expressions, and still not have judgment.
Yes.
Right? And being a teacher, there is an element of critique, and it does not need to be derogatory or, tearing down, but
yes.
It can be very serious, and it can say, okay, so now it's time to work. We shared a mentee actually, recently. And I often thought about you and what you were offering him and what I was offering him. And
yes,
I've learned a lot more about mentoring through this time, because I've
Oh
taken
yeah.
on more mentors because I have the time. But yeah, so going back to you, um, you who might have been your influences, or what might have been your influences as far as how you impart knowledge now?
So Fiona Ferry, the teacher that really whipped me into shape, definitely. And it's so funny. I became such a bunhead last week and watched all of the Prix de Lausanne, like hours and hours and hours. I mean, 5 days, 10 hours, 50 hours. I know. I didn't realize that I was so obsessed, and I just was like fascinated by the different training and how students look from different parts of the world, and just little things like, oh, well, they use their finger like this, and oh, I like that. And teacher head, and so I was like, I'm going to text Fiona, and we're texting all week about our favorite dancers.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, she's always joking. Oh, Stephanie, I bet now, how I was feeling back then. Why I used to get so frustrated at you and because she knows I'm teaching. And yeah, you're right, Fiona. You're right.
Funny how the other side of the room really teaches you so much, right? And how all of a sudden you have so much more respect.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, she's a terrifying lady as a teacher. And I don't think she's as close with all of her students, but it's really, I love that we were able to text and talk. And she was one of the first people to fly me out to her school in Georgia at the time. And oh, I trust you. I want you to teach contemporary. You'll be fine. And she just left me in the studio with her students and for a week, and it was amazing. And she gave me that opportunity, and it was terrifying. I don't think I slept that week at all. And I was calling all my friends who are teachers. Just like, calm me down. I'm so nervous to stand in the front of the room. I don't feel like I know anything. Like, Stephanie, you know everything. You know everything you need to know to teach.
Yeah. And so with that, and having that experience for the first time, and now a lot during COVID, how has this teaching shifted your ideas as a performer?
Well,
maybe it hasn't.
It's hard to answer because I haven't performed.
Right.
And I had
Right.
an opportunity to perform Sugar Plum in front of a live audience in Texas, where law doesn't exist, in December, but I got scared. I had stage fright, which was the kind of the first time I had stage fright. But I will say, and this was at a school where I teach too, so I think I wanted, especially because my students were watching, I wanted to show them, and maybe that's where the stage fright came in. I wanted to show them work ethic. I wanted to show them, like, this is how you stand in the wings. All these things, that you don't really think about as much. I wanted to show them, like, okay, like, you're ready to go. You show up with your makeup on. If there's not enough seats in the dressing room, you don't chat too much. Take pictures. You try to do your best. Huh?
You were approaching performance as a teaching lesson. Yeah, but that's,
I think so. I guess, yeah, if you say it like that.
That's brilliant, actually. That would be a great university class.
Yeah, I mean, and Sugar Plum's not easy.
No.
So it was also like, how do I approach my mess ups, because no performance is perfect, in a way that, conceals, or not conceals, but how do I push through and not have a mental breakdown, or, those things. Yeah. Performing as a teacher, teaching as a performer.
Teaching as a, beautiful. That's right. Interchangeable, beautiful. So now we're at the last 3 questions that I ask everyone. I know there are many, but does one impactful or favorite memory from your creative life come up at this moment that you can share?
Well, just touring. Not everyone gets to tour as much as I've been able to, and I love touring. I miss it so dearly. And I just feel like that's when the company comes together. You're, especially whenever you go to a foreign city. Like, one of our last big epic tours was to Brazil, and we have 2 Brazilians in the company, so that was awesome because they were basically like homecoming heroes.
Yeah.
It was insane that, Ingrid was being treated like Rihanna. It was really cool. And but we come together as this like close-knit family, and it's something that, it doesn't matter how many times you tell your roommate when you come home, or someone that wasn't there, oh, it's great. No, they are not going to feel that sense in that moment in time, that sense of we're in this together as a team.
Yeah, touring was wonderful.
It's like that. I love that. I know that part doesn't last forever. That part with the performing and it would be great to be an artistic director or a ballet master one day and to continue that touring. I think, yeah.
Make it happen.
Because it's fun, but you're not home a lot, so who knows? But that's a joyful moment. And
beautiful.
Yeah, anytime you feel just, I think anytime you can come home and you can ice your feet with a smile on your face.
Yes.
When the ice bucket is just, I worked.
Exactly.
You're like, this feels great. I did it.
A warrior.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Do you have a specific insight? I know there are many, but something again that comes up now about living the creative life.
I don't know why this question was hard for me.
Does something pop into your head now? Even something from COVID about living continuing to be creative.
I think it's the trying to use your brain in ways that you're not used to using it. So I think what's helped my creative life right now has been, like I said, getting voted as a leader in the tenants association, doing these things that I have to use my creative mind, but in a way that I'm not used to, that also terrifies me. Or speaking to my neighbors about what's happening and how they're feeling, and being a leader in my building. Making iMovies takes another level of creative life. It's definitely different from dancing, even when you're editing dancing. Yeah, so I think just trying to be creative, but in new ways for you.
Beautiful.
Is how the creative life continues.
Yeah. Last big question: in supporting and building a more equitable dance community, what are some specific daily practices we can be active with?
Listening
Okay.
to each other, and having care, approaching life with care, not throwing things away, not throwing words at each other, not letting emotions get the best of us, you know, but having care, caring for the person across from you, caring for yourself, just care. I think there's a lot of anger, just so much anger and anxiety. And I think that starts with having to care for ourselves and then caring for others.
Beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. And calming and protecting and all the good things that we could give each other. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie, I was so looking forward to this chat. You know, it's just, you're just a remarkable human being, a remarkable woman. And it's so insightful to hear from you as a person who is in the midst of their professional dancing career and also diving and tapping into all the other, you know, life experiences that COVID has brought up as well. And then hearing your history. Just thank you so much for your generosity. It was a beautiful, beautiful chat. Beautiful to sit with you. I want to direct people to perhaps find out more about you, your teaching, or you as a performer. Do you have a website, or is there some place that someone can find out about you?
Instagram.
Right.
I'm at Steph E. Me. And yeah, I don't, I should get a website.
It would be very
Yes, I really should. And you can find me on Ballet Together if you want to take class.
great. Ballet Together,
Yes.
awesome. And then, of course, if they go to DTH, they'll find out something about you.
Yes, for sure.
Perhaps maybe see videos of you dancing. Is that also right?
Yes. Dance Theater of Harlem's YouTube page has a lot of content now.
There you go.
So yeah, you can find out more about me through DTH on the DTH YouTube and more about me on my Instagram.
Beautiful. And of course, there'll be a small, an abbreviated description of Stephanie, little bio that will accompany this video. So you can read a little bit about her there. And we have new guests every week. And Stephanie, a very good friend of yours, will be featured on our next interview. Doane W. Doane, dance artist, educator, choreographer, and founder of the Shift-Darklight Productions. So I want to thank you again for your time. I want to thank our dance community that has given us so much and uplifts us and drives us crazy and all the stuff of living an artist's life. And I wish you the best, Stephanie. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me today, Helen.
My pleasure. Until next time. Bye.